Weather looks good for most of the route, and we're expected to land right on schedule. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight.
So I board the plane in Christchurch, New Zealand. It's only a little plane. It's got about 20 seats. It's one of those planes where you've got like 2 seats on one side, then you've got the aisle, then you've got 2 seats on the other side. And so I find my seat, and I've got the aisle seat, and there's a lady sitting next to me who's got the window seat, and she immediately starts reading a magazine. And as they do, the flight attendant starts to give the safety instructions. Now, safety instructions at any time crack me up, whether it's on a big plane, but on a small plane it's even funnier because they're doing this serious instructional thing to about 8 people. And so I listen, I'm really polite, and they start talking about, how to put a seatbelt on, and that's, I think, designed for anybody who's just arrived on the planet in the last 8 days. Then they go to the oxygen mask, and they say adults put it on first, and if you get a bit of time later on, give some to the kids as well. And then they go to the life jackets, and they show how to put it on, and there's this beautiful little red whistle you can blow, which I'm sure is helpful if you're floating around in the Tasman Sea. And then, of course, she holds up the safety card for all the extra bits and pieces that you might need to know. And the one that's most interesting, I find, is the one that tells you how to brace when you're in a crash position. And that's for when the plane is plummeting towards the earth. And apparently if you get into that position, that's going to help at that moment.
All right, now everybody, get in crash position.
Lucky for me, this thing had air brakes.
So the plane takes off, and it's one of those beautiful days for flying. Clear skies, not a bump all the way down. And when we're about 15 minutes out of Wanaka, I hear the plane engines begin to change, and so we know that the plane is descending. And that's when I look out the window and see something more beautiful than I have ever seen in my whole life. Now, I've heard New Zealand described many times as the land of the long white cloud. And now I am literally looking at this metaphor out the window. It's just beautiful. But the sky, it's colours like I've never seen before in my whole life. And I'm imagining if, Cézanne or Vincent van Gogh were looking at it and trying to paint it, they go, I don't know how to do this because I don't know how to mix those colours. It was that beautiful. And then I see something and I can't believe what I'm seeing, because the woman beside me is still reading her magazine. And I look at her for about 30 seconds and then I can't stop myself and I say, excuse me? She goes, yes, and she takes the earpiece out. I didn't know she was listening to music as well as reading a magazine. And I said, you're from Wanaka, aren't you? And she goes, I am. How do you know? And I said, because you're not looking out the window. Have you looked out the window and see what's going on out there? And she starts laughing. She goes, I know, you get so used to it. And I said, lady, put your magazine in the seat pocket provided and look out the window now. And she does. And 2 minutes later, she turns around to me and she says, it is beautiful, isn't it? And I said, yes, it's very beautiful. And what about you? What is it that's beautiful in your life that maybe you've become a little bit too familiar with? Maybe you're a little bit blasé now because you're seeing it all the time, and so you're not seeing the beauty in it that you used to see, even though it's still there. For the lady on the way down to Wanaka, it was what she was looking at out the window because she lived so close to it, she just wasn't seeing it anymore. But for you, maybe it's a person. Maybe it's your wife, your husband. Maybe it's your mother or your father or an elderly man or an elderly woman or a young child. Well, as your pilot today, please heed the following instructions. Put the magazine down, put it in the seat pocket provided, put your phone in there as well, and look out the window, because I think you're going to love what you see.